Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday morning, February 29th. There's a lot of stuff that's happened over the last week, so I'm probably going to be talking really fast and kind of going back and forth between what happened. But so bear with me. I will get to the point eventually. First thing I want to start off with is I had a energetic healing last Wednesday offered to me by one of my subscribers. Thank you very much. I will post that on Telegram. I believe it's Cardinal Healings. I honestly, I was planning on looking up all of this stuff before I started, and then I forgot. But I'm going to post it if you're interested in it. And I would have talked about that on Thursday morning, but I believe Wednesday night was when all of those, we had those like 3 CMEs, coronal mass ejections that came in within 24 hours. And it like knocked me on my ass. And I don't feel like it was the healing that had anything to do with it. I feel like it was that energy that was coming in. And then the next day was when all of the cell phones quit working. Mine, I think, was working okay. I didn't have that SOS thing on it like a lot of people did. I was getting texts from different things, so I think mine was working okay. Why it was working and why other people were not, I don't know. I wonder if sometime we listen to something about doing certain settings on our phones for specific reasons, and some of us changed that and some of us did not. I don't know. I mean, I have no clue why mine didn't have the SOS and why it seemed to be working when nobody else's was. Anyway, so that happened on Thursday. And so I want to tell you a funny story that happened on Monday morning. Sunday got hijacked, I mean, like, I feel like I need a lot of alone time, especially with the energies that are coming in. I mean, half the time I don't sleep at night. And so I come home and I just I need to be left alone because I'm physically drained from all of this shit that's coming in. And so because I was busy on Sunday, I didn't get my allotted free time. And so I was like pushing it a little bit on Monday morning. And so I go into the bathroom on Monday morning thinking, I'm going to roll in right at like 8:30 instead of getting there super early like I normally do. I just needed a little extra time. So I go in the bathroom and I'm facing the hole in the wall where the shower busted back in January, and they had to dig a hole in my bathroom wall, in the shower wall. And so I'm facing that direction. I must have been in the shower for probably 4 or 5 minutes, just enough to get my hair wet and the shampoo on. And I'm in the process of like soaping, sudsing my head up and everything. And all of a sudden, I feel the water shifts. Something is different about the water. I couldn't tell you at the moment what it was, but I just know it was like I felt water going everywhere. And I think I must have turned around or something, and the shower head literally fell off in the middle of like down in the bathtub. So there is like a stream of water coming out of, where the shower diverter is. I mean, a stream of water coming out of that like 90 mile an hour, and it's shooting into the hole at the end of the shower. And I'm kind of like, fuck, and I turn everything off for a second to kind of get my bearings. And then I'm like going, well, I still need a shower and I still have soap in my hair and I still have water. So I can use it coming out of there still to get the soap out of my hair and everything. And so I go ahead and finish up half of a shower. I don't think I shaved my legs that day because I'm like going, this is like a little traumatic. And so anyway, I get out of the shower, and apparently in the process of that cracking and breaking, it must have shot water out of the side of the shower. There was water all over the wall by the shower, but it squirted clear across the room over on top of the countertop where I get ready for work every morning. water all over my makeup brushes. There's water all over the floor. I mean, it hit everything. And the only thing I can think of is as it was cracking, the water started shooting out the side. So here I am intentionally running late, and I have a mess and a half that I need to clean up with on the water and everything. And this is what the amazing thing was. It was like they slowed down time for me that day. I think it was with me, like still getting ready, putting my makeup on, getting dressed and everything. It was still like 10 after 8 or 8:15 when I got into work. I cannot figure out how that happened. I should not have had that much extra time. So it was literally like time slowed down for me, because I should have been way later for work than that. But anyway, I was laughing about that because every time I think about that, it just like, oh my God, the mess that it made. So that's how my Monday morning started. Also, I want to throw this in. One of the things that I have noticed, and I don't know for those of you that have cryptocurrency, I got a Coinbase account like 3 years ago, mostly for educational purposes. I put a little money in it. I traded a little bit. I haven't cashed anything in, but ever since the Rothschild guy died, and I don't know if there's any correlation with this, my cryptocurrency account like has started going up because it went like way down and just sat there and did nothing for a couple of years. It just was like dormant almost. And then all of a sudden it started shooting up. So now it's higher than the highest it was back when I started it. Because I think at one time I had like $121 in it. This morning there was like 133 in it. So I don't know what the correlation is. I don't know what is going on behind the scenes that is making this shoot up all of a sudden. But okay, that I find as an interesting fact. I did get on I checked the silver today to see what it was, and I don't do that on a frequent basis because nothing's been happening really. It looked like it went up to like 24 and then back down to 22 or 23 or something. So it's not doing a whole lot of anything, but I wanted to throw that out there. Okay, so let me think about this. I talked about the healing. I will post that. So last night was one of those nights where I have a app on my phone, a weather app on my phone that tells me when those CMEs are coming in, when we got solar flares coming in. There's a lot of times when I'm laying there, awake half the night, and when I get up in the morning, I'll see that there was just stuff going on all night. Because I was awake last night, I remember getting up and thinking, God, there must be a bunch of CMEs or solar flares or something, but I didn't have any of those notifications on the phone. And then I was like, I hear that hissing noise in my ears, and usually that hissing noise means the Schumann resonance. And I got up this morning, and I follow a gal on Facebook, and I will try to post that someplace for you. It's Schumann Resonance by Marguerite or something. She's a blonde-headed gal, older, probably my age, and she wears like little Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus glasses, little gold rim glasses a lot of time. And she does a lot of live events, and I've been following her. So she uses the word cowabunga a lot in her postings. So if you are interested and you're on Facebook, follow her because she's done a really good job of posting the graphs and keeping up when it's blacked out and when there's crazy stuff going on. So I wish I knew, and I would be interested in if any of you guys know the difference. This is what my feeling is, but I don't know. I feel like the Schumann resonance might be the energy coming out of the earth, and the CMEs and the solar flares are what's coming from the sun towards the earth. Because I physically notice a difference between what's going on with the Schumann resonance and what's going on with the CMEs. There's a difference. I notice a difference in my body. And the hissing noise seems to be one of the main things that I feel and hear when the Schumann resonance is going wacky. So if any of you guys know the difference, I would be curious to know that. I think that would be valuable information, and it just aggravates me that not everybody is experiencing this, because I'll talk to other people, and I'm like, are these solar flares affecting you or whatever? And they'll be like, no, or, I ask people all the time how they slept, and they're like, pretty good. And I'm like, damn you, why? Why do you get to sleep good and I don't? Okay, let's see. There seemed like there was so much more that I wanted to tell you, but because I'm talking really fast, I may have covered most of it. I talked about the healing. This is one of the things I will say about the healing. Part of it was a parasite cleanse. Well, this is one of the things I will say. She was amazing when it came to kicking out all of this stuff. And, I know this was part of what I wanted to talk about. Maybe when my life is not, I don't feel like I'm on a magic carpet ride flying through the air and can get my head on straight, I would like to do an interview with her and have her talk about how the deep state is going after the male population, and even before they're born, like in the womb, how they're going after them, and how so many little boys are affected when little girls are not, autism and different things. I found that very fascinating, and she was super knowledgeable on that. When she was kicking out all of the things, she named off like everything. And without going into details, I'm going to say I feel like I can probably validate that part of the parasite things might have been going out, without going into details. So anyway, she would be a good one to reach out to if you've got stuff that you feel like you want a cleansing for, and she covers it all. Okay, let's see. So I talked about that. We talked about the cell phones going out last week. I thought it was super interesting. Oh, here's another one I wanted to talk about. I thought it was super interesting to watch a lot of people scramble around like rats. I mean, like some of the posts and comments on Facebook were like, this was like the worst thing in the world that could ever happen. I'm like, you people, if you think that's all that's gonna happen, have a bigger awakening coming. It was interesting, and maybe it's because my phone seemed to be working okay and my life didn't get super upset by it. I did notice that my neighbor left very early Thursday morning, so I imagine his life got flipped upside down because he climbed cell phone towers. I would think that probably affected him, and he was out trying to figure out what was going on. So, found that super interesting. Okay, so here's the other thing, and I posted this on Telegram a couple of days ago. I am seeing a lot more mention, and I believe it is April 8th when we have the solar eclipse coming in. And if I say the wrong thing, it's okay. You can correct me, because I don't look up everything beforehand. Sometimes I just things spit out my mouth. But there's a big one coming in on April 8th. And I heard last year that a lot of the schools were closing. Now, the reason they said they were closing was so the kids had the ability to see it. But a lot of other places are planning for some sort of an emergency. And then this morning I saw something about a comet coming in. And I didn't do my due diligence and see what that was. Mr. MB333 was talking about that. So is that what everybody's worried about, that we're going to get hit by a comet? Or is everybody worried about the solar eclipse coming in? Because the last time it happened in 2017, I was in Illinois. It was right after my dad died, and I was down there, and we were all standing out at the library with our little glasses on watching it. Now, I will tell you this. I took my glasses off way more than I should have, and I had floaters going on in my eyes for a good month or so. So that shit will burn your eyes. So if you're not taking those solar eclipses seriously, you should. So that's coming up April 8th. I'm curious what you guys think about that. And do you think there's a big deal? Do we need to get worried? Is it another false flag? Is there something major going to happen and they're doing it behind the scenes and it's not really, nature that is creating it, but man is creating some sort of emergency? I don't know. I mean, anything goes these days. Okay, so I talked about that. Oh, one more thing. See, I told you this was going to be all over the place. I usually warn you guys when it's like this. So yesterday, yesterday at work, we had I assume he was a Middle Eastern guy. I mean, I think his name was Abishar, something like that. He did not have a last name. So all of the paperwork said his name and then no last name. So for 2 or 3 days before we went to closing, it went back and forth of whether, will we close this? Can he provide the allotted paperwork that we need? Things don't match up. So there were questions about, is this real? Is this fake? We can't notarize if we feel that this is not truly who this person is. And apparently he had gotten his passport stolen, maybe driver's license. I never heard the whole story. I didn't know anything was going on until the day before because they kept going, it might close, it might not. We don't know. We're still trying to figure out. And so at like noon, the agent shows up. And then at like 12:30-ish, the buyer and some of his people, guys, I think they buy a house and then several of them, like men, live in there together. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that's going to have comments about that. So anyway, they come in at like 12:30, 12:45 or something like that. And I go back to get my closer and she goes, we're still waiting. We don't have approval to close yet. And I'm like, seriously? Yesterday morning, we heard that we had approval. So I sat there and my anxiety was like going up, because I'm like, they're going to be coming out here asking me questions. I don't have the answer. I don't have the say so to go, yeah, go ahead and close. We'll be fine, whatever. And they sat there. I think they finally got started on that between 3 and 3:30. So all afternoon, it was going back and forth. Calls coming in, attorneys calling. What they finally decided to do was put an exception on the title policy and say, if something ever blows up in our face, we're not covering it because this dude is not who he says he is. And so then we have to throw it over to the lender, and the lender has to look at it and decide, will they do it? So I guess everybody finally came into agreement after like 3 or 4 hours. Well, I think it was like 4:45 when they finally left. So anyway, they all took pictures. They were happy. I was happy for them. The agent comes in there all the time. She's a sweet lady. I would hate for that to blow up in their face if it really was, they said they had a police report and everything for it. So but he couldn't produce a passport. And that was the one thing we were asking for. Well, he couldn't produce a passport was because it got stolen, although they're in the process of getting a new one reissued. So I don't know when that all happened, but I was like, God, I felt like I was sitting at my desk on watch the whole time. I couldn't relax. I've got this foreign language going off in one of the rooms, and it sounded like I had like a TV in the background. I was never so glad to have yesterday over. So anyway, I think that's it for now. I have not talked to my neighbor, which makes me very sad. He was gone most of last week. We were both home over the weekend. I think we both crashed this weekend because I didn't see him. I didn't go out of the apartment on Saturday, and I didn't see him on Sunday. And then he's been gone, I think, most of this week. So I look forward to seeing him again, but I don't have anything to report on that. So I think that's it. I will talk to you guys later. Stay hydrated. get your rest. This stuff that's coming in seems to be cranking up even more. So I don't know, maybe it'll let up on us, or let's do something and get it over with, whatever. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.